Hey, y'all. It is David, and it is good to be with you in this way that we have right now. Today, as it turns out, is Run Every Machine in the Neighborhood Day where I live. And so while I love to typically give these check ins from some serene place outside, there is no such place available near me today. So welcome to the indoor chancel in my home. And this environment may look familiar to you if you've been tuning in to Sunday worship, but we'll check in from here just the same today. I want to name that we are going to be a virtual church for what looks like a good while longer. There's plenty of wondering and adjustment and adaptation going on around us, but we as Christians, we as a St. Luke's congregation who care for all of each other. We are people who prioritize concern for wellness, especially for those who are most vulnerable, those with health conditions, those who might be most susceptible to coronavirus right now. So while other things are going on around us, our move towards being a virtual church, while we need to do so in order to be safe, and keep everyone among us and with whom we're connected safe is going to continue to be our norm. And so we've been answering questions in this virtual church moment. How do we worship virtually? How do we learn virtually? How do we spend time together virtually? And we've been trying to answer those questions, and I think in some really lovely ways. We are now in a rhythm of worshiping online and learning online with Bible studies and small groups and spending time together with check-ins and tavern talks and other things. Finding ways to be connected by telephone, using some old school technology to new good effect. So there are all sorts of things that we have managed to discover in virtual church living that can meaningfully connect us and can help us continue to grow and follow Christ as we do. But a really powerful question posed by this virtual church era to Christians like us right now is how do we also live our lives outward? How do we, in the way of Christ, go out and embrace strangers and expand our community continuously to include others? Now, a lot of that happens very naturally in the way that we're living our lives right now. Right now, we are sacrificing considerably for the sake of others, for the sake of a community, and for the sake especially of those most vulnerable to coronavirus. And that is part of how we live our lives outward, and that is part of how we embrace strangers. We are giving great love to others by staying safely at home and helping others stay safe without contact with us. But having the meaningful sorts of encounters that Jesus leads us to, and encountering regularly strangers, letting strangers know that we care about them and that we care about and encounters together is something that that happens naturally in some ways right now, and in other ways it's very challenged. Some of that call to outward living and embracing strangers right now, it happens rather invisibly. And so some of what we have the opportunity to do right now is explore, what does outward living look like right now? How can we be the outreaching church that St. Luke's is so meaningfully? How can we continue to be that outward, outreaching, outgoing church in the era in which we are? Well, one of the things that I think we'll be doing as a congregation together for this next while is exploring the frontier that is outward living in virtual church existence. And so we'll be trying some new things. We'll be exploring ways that we can be connected outside of our neighborhoods and outside of our general spheres of influence with other communities, with other people. Many of you know that St. Luke's has a wonderful long-standing partnership with a congregation on the other side of town that's called Dodd Sterling United Methodist Church. It is a predominantly African-American, beautiful congregation of love and compassion and fellowship in their place. And somehow, some way, by God and good people, we have had a long-standing connection with this congregation that has been practiced in lots of different ways. We among other things, have gathered with them every year to build a house through Habitat for Humanity. So every year, a new house, a new dwelling place for someone has emerged as a result of our congregation's partnership. And we have also been building with and for the Dodd Sterling Church. Some of you may have come down there with me in recent years, and if you have, you know that some of the rooms of their church have been renovated because of the hard work of folks like Tom and Daryl and our faux bags who work so hard on construction projects generously for others. That has borne great fruit for our friends at Dodd Sterling, and so there are things like a welcome center that they now have. Improvements in their sanctuary, improvements in their fellowship hall, and other places that are the result of labors that St. Luke's Presbyterians have provided. And so building has been a big part of our relationship, building that we do together. We have also broken bread together. We get together for breakfast at least once every year, and we enjoy fellowship together, and we pray together. That partnership has lots of roots in getting together physically and letting the Spirit move among us as we do. Well, one of the frontiers we have the opportunity to explore this week, and I invite you to join me in doing that, is that this Saturday morning at 8:30 in the morning, we're going to have a Zoom call with our brothers and sisters at Dodd Sterling United Methodist. Reverend Eric Powell, my dear friend and their leader, is going to be on the call, and they have been exploring virtual church and Zoom just like we have. So why can't we? Why shouldn't we gather together and get our congregations together across the geographic lines that we have traversed for years and make use of some of this virtual space for our continued growing together. So I hope you'll join me for that call Saturday morning. The Zoom link is available to you by the highlights email that you've received, and we'll try to include it in the comments of this check-in. And I hope that you'll continue to explore that space and others with me, so that we can continue to follow Christ and be outward, be outgoing, be outwardly loving in this virtual church era, just in some different ways right now. I think what we'll discover is what we always discover when we follow Jesus, and that is that the Spirit is alive and at work powerfully in ways that exceeded our expectations and exceeded our ability to imagine. So I look forward to discovering the new things that God is doing on Saturday morning with you and here into the near future, where we are figuring things out alongside Jesus as we go. Y'all take good care, and we love you. See you next time.